By the way, do you mind if I do something real quick?
Oh, sure.
Speaking of Charlie Kirk's words, you know that there's a transcript, and I'm not making this up. There's a transcript of his final episode of his podcast.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Do you want to hear one of the things he said on the final episode of his podcast?
Sure. Yeah, a lot of great stuff online. You said apparently what radicalized him was all the MAGA stirrers in his family and online. That's got to with the narrative, or I'm sure the narrative will just adapt to twist it back to blaming the left.
Right.
As we were saying, this feels a lot more complicated, and the problem is no one trusts Kash Patel, the FBI, people, it seems like we were saying Governor Cox, kind of expressed some unity, some, whatever you want to call it. Trump called him. Now it's I just don't know what to, and of course the shooter himself is not cooperating. So I think, because clearly there's a lot of evidence that he, was a groyper, right? I mean, so that's, there could be a number of mishmash of reasons he didn't like Charlie Kirk, right?
Yeah, say Charlie Pierce.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I keep saying that.
Oh my God!
I'm used to my Charlie. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And by the way, if somebody did shoot Charlie Pierce, I bet he would appreciate it if people mocked it.
Stop it.
Oh.
So rudeness, Tyler Robinson's grandmother says all of her family's MAGA, doesn't know any single one who's a Democrat, crickets from MAGA. I just feel like the mainstream media seems scared essless to really again, every time you mention Butler, you have to mention that was a Trump voting Republican.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the other thing that this does is it totally f's up the narrative of be raised in this kind of family and you'll turn out to be a good patriotic American.
Yeah.
Or just like that.
They may have an agenda too, and or like Chris said, just be of an age where they don't get the whole depths of online
irony,
groyperdom, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it is for a lot of people it is hard to understand how online people are. How online, the youth is that they live large chunks of their lives just, streaming on Twitch or just being online playing games with their friends.
Bella agrees with Governor Cox on that. Go touch grass. I think he said that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there is something rude. And again, I don't mean to sound like an old fogey. I mean, she's wearing the shawl this morning, so she's.
I know. I'm wearing my grandma shawl. Yeah.
She said she was more liberal in high school.
You're wearing a schmata. You're a schmata this morning.
But I don't know. I lost my point.
I don't.
Help,
Bella,
mommy.
She's
Anyway,
I don't know.
Forget it. No,
the kids,
I'm sorry. I was saying to sound like a fogey, but this didn't happen when we were all growing up. With this frequency, there was something going on with people not connecting to other humans. That they're just online 24/7. Whether it's
if you're getting a barrage of hate and there's you don't even have to make an effort to get it. I mean, you used to have to dress up and go to a Klan rally, but now you can just have your own virtual online Klan rally on Zoom,
on Discord,
and you can put up something blocking your image right there. It's just easy. It's easy to get into that, and it's easy to get guns. I mean, if you're gonna have a gun culture, it's not only going to affect people you don't like.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the other thing. When I was growing up, I wouldn't have had the first idea where to get a gun. I don't think anybody I went to school with would have either. I mean,
it was when the NRA decided that this was the way they wanted to go, is loosening gun laws because they wanted to build their membership around radical right-wing politics and away from hunting, and this was what we get. And so it's all of a piece.
And in that way, this is the typical right-wing, right-wing Christian gun nut family that, is obviously pictures of him with guns going back forever.
Not charming.
As a by the way, mild-mannered college professor, Carrie Lake says Kirk's killer was radicalized in college. He did one semester online during COVID at Utah State. I mean, they just will do anything except talk about the guns, right?
Can I just point out something though? If I may speak about colleges,
sure.
Yes, please.
It's that Turning Point USA has chapters at over 800 colleges and universities, including Harvard, including Berkeley. Now, it seems to me like if these were intolerant, radical places that didn't want anybody right wing there, then they wouldn't have allowed Turning Point USA to have a chapter. But they did, and they were organized, and they are active, and nobody says anything about it because what we want is a free exchange of ideas. And sorry if our ideas are not the ideas that you were raised with. That's called learning.
Right, right.
Very good point, Rude.
Yeah. You said the website devoted to doxing anyone who posts anything slightly negative about Charlie Kirk is completely effing insane. I mean, again, people quoting Charlie Kirk's actual words they're being accused of smearing him or whatever it is.
The stuff that was on there, now it's changed. They changed it from Charlie's murderers to the Charlie Kirk Data Center. And they're trying to dox anyone that said anything like, even slightly critical of Charlie Kirk because, he's Jesus now.
Yeah. Well, and we already played it, but Brian Kilmeade endorses euthanizing homeless people, involuntary lethal injection, he called it. And you just said, like this used to end careers. Now it's fine to call for mass murder. Just don't say anything mean about Charlie Kirk. I mean, the double standard is,
Yeah. Well, it's also everyone wants to be a cop now. We see it with the growing numbers of ICE agents. Everybody wants to have that little taste of power. And if you're the jolt you get is from sending something to Marsha Blackburn so that she can whine at a college president until they fire someone. Well, that gives you that little jolt of satisfaction of having some power over and making somebody's life miserable because you suck.
Yeah.
By the way, do you mind if I do something real quick?
Oh, sure.
Speaking of Charlie Kirk's words, you know that there's a transcript, and I'm not making this up. There's a transcript of his final episode of his podcast.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Do you want to hear one of the things he said on the final episode of his podcast?
Sure.
Yeah. Here's what he was talking about. And again, I will say, as I've said, I do not celebrate his death, but I do not have to celebrate his life. That's where I am. And this is what he said. He said, here's the tweet that I sent out. Quote, if a random white person simply walked up to and stabbed a nice, law-abiding black person for no reason, it would be apocalyptic. Huge national story used to impose national sweeping political changes on the whole country. Of course this is true. Everybody knows this is true. Our media thirst for stories like that. I want you to imagine if a white guy sitting on a bus and a black woman just on her phone, and all of a sudden the white guy took out a knife and just stabbed her in the neck repeatedly. How do you think the media would react? We would have protests. Wendy's. I'll tell you right now, there would be 100 burned Wendy's around the world. I mean, in every city. It would be so hot on top they'd start burning the Denny's. Now, this is the part that gets me. They use Emmett Till 70 years later because of this. Because it's a case of a horrifying murder of an innocent black person by hate for white. It's so rare they have to go back 70 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was on his last episode. So, I'm just reading his words.
Right.
That's what he said.
His words in context, too. You just weren't taking a little sentence.
Someone posted, Rude, afraid to fly with a black pilot? Babe, black women literally calculated the math that got us to the moon. If you trust NASA, you can trust the cockpit. I mean, again, it's just
if you actually
racism.
believed, if you're somebody out there saying, oh, Charlie Kirk believed in free speech, he believed in arguments and things like that, then wouldn't he want this? I mean, wouldn't it be I'm inspiring arguments, isn't it? Because if you're not okay with that, then you don't actually agree with what you're claiming Charlie Kirk wanted.
Yeah. By the way, so Kash Patel, Wolves says Kash Patel must be relieved the suspected assailant's father turned him in, because if it had gone on any longer, it would have been even more apparent that Patel hasn't the slightest clue what he's doing or how to lead a law enforcement agency. And that's coming from the right and the left. So we can be excused for saying we're not sure we trust anything Kash Patel. When you've already had the president say it's the left, Kash Patel better produce that, right? So they're going to say, oh, the MAGA family said this, but not the grandmother that said they're all MAGA, or, nothing that, or him following Nick Fuentes, right?
You want me to get all conspiracy minded? You know what the big screw up was? They didn't kill the guy before he turned himself in.
Yeah.
Because if he's dead, it's easier to create a narrative.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he doesn't get Epsteined. And by the way, I'm afraid of this escalating in any direction, Rude, and I would be afraid if I were Nick Fuentes or Laura Loomer. I mean, they were some of the prime attackers of Charlie Kirk online, and so
Laura
who
Loomer
knows?
Laura Loomer has some kind of slick coating on her that prevents her from being held responsible for anything. It's like some kind of protective gelatinous
gel,
she injects into herself.
Our friend Mike Nellis just had to call Chicago police because of threats made directly to him and his 6-year-old son by Laura Loomer.
Which, by the way, that's what should be happening when people complain about what somebody said online, and somebody calls up and rants and raves about what somebody said online. The employer should be saying to the employee, "Hey, just want to make sure you're safe, not F you, you're fired because you made a MAGA person sad."
Yeah. You, by the way, Kash Patel, you said he always looks like he was just told that he got syphilis from the donkey that he. Now, someone had a betting pool how many times you were going to have to say allegedly after something I said this morning. I guess that's alleged.
Allegedly.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I mean,
it's a supposition. That's what
exactly.
It is.
Yeah, I mean,
it's satire. For now, that's protected. For now.
This is Ryan this morning. I just want a president who doesn't intentionally make everything worse for everyone all the time. Maybe that's something we can all agree on, right? There is just not enough gasoline to throw on the fire for him. He's done it now, doubled and tripled down ever since this tragedy.
Every chance that he can, he will do that. And any chance he has where he can tell everyone to calm down, he won't. He will just say, "Hey, this is the left, this is Democrats, and they're fascists, but it's okay if I say they're fascists."
And by the way, he wasn't registered as anything. They're making it sound like he was the head of the DNC. He wasn't registered as anything. There's obviously
it doesn't matter.
Evidence.
It doesn't matter. People come back. People keep saying the stupidest things, just making up stuff about him, and it's just going to keep going, and people are going to start believing that. And we've seen this so many times, and it's exhausting because right now all they've got is lies. They traffic in lies. Yeah. And, and that's what Charlie Kirk did. He trafficked in lies. He promoted lies, and he wanted people to believe lies. And if all you ever saw of Charlie Kirk was him out there doing his, being speaking for Christianity and, talking about Jesus and everything, well, you missed a whole bunch of stuff. You missed the Turning Point USA Professor Watch List, where they, friends of mine were on it, and they were attacked savagely because they were on that list and got doxxed and threatened. Yeah. And it's like, stop pretending like this is just some innocuous public speaker. He wasn't. And again, he didn't deserve any of this. Nope. I'm against any kind of school shooting, any gun violence, any use of guns. Yeah. So, I don't care who the victim is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Rudeness, stay safe. We love you.
Make them debate God. Make them debate Jesus. And this is all the stuff that you guys say that they have a problem with.
Does that work? How does that work on Scott Jennings?
It's quite interesting. I want to tell you about it. I was on CNN with our friend from Kentucky, and he was talking about the illegals. I call them Christian refugees because that makes him angry, Jesus. I knew you. God of the Hebrew Scriptures commands us to welcome the stranger and treat the alien as one of our own. And Jesus in Matthew 25 says that individuals and nations are going to be judged by how they welcome the stranger. So I had to say on CNN, why should I listen to you and Donald Trump and ignore God and Jesus? How'd I do?
Nice gotcha moment pulling the Bible out.
Simon & Schuster's Avid Reader Press presents Separation of Church and Hate, the bold, hilarious new book from John Fugelsang, available September 9th and on sale now at your local independent bookstore or your favorite non-evil website.